A question has been asked about the sun and moon and how they appear in the upper left and right side of landscape style paintings. Well, we've not really talked about the sun and the moon, and we've not talked about the important deities and gods that are related to the sun and the moon. And of course, all of this also relates to the very complex subject of astrology and astrological charts and paintings and even repoussé, some relief. So to really talk about the sun and moon, we have to break it up into really two main subjects. One is deities that are associated with the sun and moon, and then we have to talk about it from the point of view of painting style and iconography. Now, of course, within there we have to look at the abstract symbolism of the sun and moon, and to do that we actually have to divide it between Hindu, Buddhist, and Bun. But then when we're looking at deities, we have to look at primary deities and secondary deities. Now, of course, we do have the god Surya for the sun, and we have the god Chandra. And these primarily are found in Buddhist texts of the Kathmandu Valley, where it's Chandra and Surya are very prominent, and we do have quite a number of paintings, and we also can find sculpture, but then we can also find a tremendous amount of sculpture from India for these two gods. In Himalayan and Tibetan Buddhism, Surya and Chandra play somewhat less a smaller role, and then we have to look at them as generally secondary deities in mandalas, but we also can find Surya and Chandra as gods underfoot of major meditational deities such as Vajrabhairava and others. Now, in terms of, and then we can also find a little bit about the moon in the Jataka tales, where we have the rabbit in the moon. So we have a lot of different avenues to look at when discussing the sun and moon. Now, in terms of painting style and iconography, for floating style composition, where we don't have a grid work pattern, we're really looking at teachers, Buddhas, deities, bodhisattvas, with a landscape behind them, some form of a complex or simple landscape. And then often in the upper right and upper left corners will be some type of representation of a moon, sometimes with stars, and then a sun. But I'm not going to go into that now, because I think we should devote a separate video, because that really does relate to painting styles. And it is actually a shortcut in some cases if you're not familiar with a style or a region a painting comes from, and it's a late painting. So late painting means post-17th century. If it's a late painting, then you can actually recognize and identify what style it is by what type of moon or stars and sun, and how it's, what color it is, what shape it is. Then you can identify a style and a region by that. So enough for now. You can subscribe, you can like, you can join HAR on Patreon, and you can also make a donation on the homepage of Himalayan Art Resources.